Hello students, I hope you all are doing good. Welcome back to your channel, My Concepts Academy. Today's topic, Ohm's Law. In our previous videos, we have discussed about the flow of electrons, electric current, potential difference, and circuit diagram. Students, stay tuned as we dive deeper and find out whether there is a relationship between the potential difference V across a conductor and the current I through it. So let's set up a circuit as shown on your screen consisting of a nichrome wire XY of length say 0.5 meter, 4 cells, an ammeter and a voltmeter across the nichrome wire XY. Nichrome is an alloy of nickel, chromium, manganese and iron. It has higher resistance in comparison to conductors. It is used for making the heating elements of appliances such as toaster, geyser and heater. We are going to take the readings 4 times. So as you can see in the table, the first column, we are going to enter the number of cells we are going to add to the circuit each time. The second column will be the reading of the ammeter, and in the third column, we are going to add the reading of the voltmeter, which will measure the potential difference across the nichrome wire. So we are going to start with 0 number of cells to the circuit. As you can see, when there are no cells in the circuit, the potential difference across the wire is 0 and the current in the circuit is also 0. Next, we are going to add 1 cell to the circuit, check the reading on the ammeter and voltmeter and fill the table. Same way, every time we are going to add 1 extra cell to the circuit, check the reading on the ammeter and voltmeter and fill the table. So what can we conclude from the table? Yes, as the potential difference across the wire increases, the current in the wire also increases. Now let's plot a graph between the potential difference V and current I and observe the nature of the graph. While plotting a graph, remember a rule of thumb. Plot independent variable along x-axis while the dependent variable along y-axis. As you can see, the graph is approximately a straight line from the origin, right? So what we can conclude from this graph? Since the graph is a straight line, the current through the circuit is directly proportional to the potential difference across the ends of a given wire. In the year 1827, a German physicist George Ohm, based on his experiment with electricity, found the relationship between the current I flowing in the metallic wire and the potential difference V across its terminals and published this formula. This formula is used to calculate electrical values so that we can design circuits and use electricity in a useful manner. So, Ohm's law states that the electric current flowing through a conductor is directly proportional to the potential difference across its 2 ends, when the other physical conditions like temperature remains constant. So, this directly proportional relation between the potential difference V across the wire and current I means if the potential difference V is changed, the current I will also get changed in the same proportional. For example, if the potential difference is increased to double, the current also gets increased to double. And if the potential difference is reduced to half, the current will also get reduced to half. So we can see the mathematical expression I proportional to V, which can also be written as V proportional to I. Considering the proportionality constant, we can then write V equals to constant into I. So before we discuss about the constant of proportionality in the formula of Ohm's law, let's go back to our study which we have conducted and add 1 more column to our table which will calculate potential difference divided by current I. So can you see that V by I for nichrome wire is almost same for all the readings? Now let's see the graph which we have plotted using these records. We know that slope of any graph is equal to change in y divided by change in x, right? Here it is delta I by delta V. You can take the value at any point on the slope and it will come to 0.285. Now if we reverse it, delta V by delta I is equals to approximately 3.5, which is approximately same as the calculation in the table. The constant of proportionality in this equation is termed as resistance, denoted by capital R. It was observed that for any given metallic wire, the resistance will remain constant at a given temperature. So, the equation of Ohm's law says that the potential difference V across the conductor is equal to the resistance of the conductor multiplied by the current I flowing through it. We can also write this equation as R equals to V by I. So, the resistance of a conductor can be defined as the ratio of the potential difference across the conductor to the current flowing through the conductor. Now, what is the SI unit of resistance? The SI unit of resistance, volt by ampere, is ohm, named after George Ohm. So, if the potential difference across the two ends of a conductor is 1 volt and the current through it is 1 ampere, then the resistance R of the conductor is 1 ohm. That is, 1 ohm is equal to 1 volt by 1 ampere. Now, do you know why we call this constant from the equation of Ohm's law as resistance and not something else? For example, we don't call it conductance, right? So, let us discuss this with an observation. We have taken 3 wires of different resistances. Wire A 2 ohm, wire B 4 ohm and wire C 6 ohm. And the same potential difference 12 volt is applied across each wire. We have calculated the current across each wire using Ohm's law formula V equals to IR or I equals to V by R. We have calculated the current flowing through each wire, which you can see on the screen. So what did you observe here? We can clearly see that the current flowing through the wire with maximum resistance is the least value and the current flowing through the wire with minimum resistance is the highest value, which concludes that higher the resistance, lower the current. So the constant in Ohm's law is basically resisting the flow of current through the conductor. That is why we call it resistance. The current varies for different components in a circuit. But why does it differ? This happens because certain components provide an easier path for the flow of electric current while others resist it. We know that motion of electrons in an electric circuit constitutes an electric current. The electrons, however, are not completely free to move within a conductor. They are restrained by the attraction of atoms among which they move. Thus, motion of electrons through the conductor is retarded by its resistance. Based on this concept of electric resistance, all the substances can be divided into 3 categories according to their ability to allow electric charges to pass through them. Number 1, conductor. A material of a given size that offers a low resistance is a good conductor. For example, copper, aluminum and silver. A material of identical size that offers a higher resistance is a poor conductor. For example, mercury and tungsten are poor conductor of electricity. A material having appreciable resistance is called a resistor. For example, nichrome, which is an alloy of nickel, chromium, manganese and iron. It has a higher resistance in comparison to conductors. Insulator. An insulator of the same size offers extremely high resistance, preventing the flow of current almost entirely. For example, plastic or rubber. So with this, we are at the end of this topic. I'll come back with the next video where we will discuss factors on which the resistance of a conductor depends. Till then, all the best. Thank you.